Hello guys, this is Kudo, and today in this video I will show you how you can make a Unity editor windows. So in this video it will be an introduction on how you can make a tool for Unity. So let's get into it. Today in this tool I came across some issue with Unity. So let me explain what the issue I got. So in some of my project I have some structure like this. So I got a cube, I got an object, inside I got another object, and etc. etc. And the thing is, I want to, when I change something in the object, in this case the tag, I want to be able to apply this tag to all my game object. Because when you change the layer of the game object, let's say you want to transform the layer of this game object, so let's say UI, Unity will ask you if you want to change the children too. So I thought that's nice because layer can do this. So if I check on the tag, so let me create a new tag. So maybe test tag cube, for example. Okay, and I go back to my cube and I tag the first cube as a test tag cube. Maybe Unity will ask me if I want to apply this to all children. And matter of fact, when I click on test tag cube, it will not give me the tag of all the other children. So I say to myself, so let's try to make a tool to make things right. So why layer can do this and not tag? So this is why I want to make this video, because I came across this problem and maybe it will help some people. Because if you got only one or two objects, it's okay, but if you got like 1,000 objects and you want to all the same children, that's too much. So the first thing you will need to do to make an editor windows, you will need to create a folder named editor. So I already created it because in my previous video, when I create like an asset bundle, I create in the script folder an editor folder, and I already create like an asset bundle for editor. So for this one, create a folder editor, and let's create a C# script. So let's create C# script. So tag children editor windows. Okay, so because I know what I'm doing and I know where I want to do, but the first thing you will need to do if you want to create like an editor window, I recommend you to take a paper with a pen and draw how you want to see your editor window. So for me, it will be very easy. I want to have an editor window with the possibility to drag and drop any game object in my scene. And also, I want to be able to choose if how many level I want to impact my children. This is something very basic. So let's open this in Visual Studio Code and let's start code our tools. So the first thing I will need to do, so I don't need this generic and collection. I will need to use, so using Unity editor, so Unity editor, because this will be a Windows editor for Unity. And also I don't want to irritate from mono behavior, but editor windows. So editor windows, okay. And also I don't need the void start and void update. So I can remove this like that. Okay, so the first thing we need to do to create a Windows who will pop up inside inside Unity. So to do that, what we want to do, so we want to create menu item, so menu item, and basically it will ask you in bracket where do you want to put it. So for me, I will put it in tools, so tools slash, and I want to make it tag children like this. And we need to create basically the function that will show the windows. So this is why we'll use a static. So it's very important to make static, and we want to create a public static void show windows. And inside the show windows, we want basically to make the windows appear. So to do that, what we want to do, we want to use the functionality get windows. So get windows, and it will ask in parameter the class we want. So get windows of tag children editor windows. So basically this classes, and after in this other parameter, it will ask you what will be the name of this windows. So for me, I will use not tag children, but tag tools, like this. T, capital T. I will save this, and now let's head back to Unity and let's see how this is going. So again, I put the show windows in my tools. So if I go to tools, as you can see, I got tag children, and if I press it, it will normally show a window tag children. And as you can see, we got the tag tools windows, and we can pin it over there, or we can move it anywhere we want. And now we want to code our tools to be able to tag all the children we want. Okay, so let's head back to Visual Studio Code. I will need to use some variable because basically we also need to think how this tool will work. So let's head back to Unity. So basically in my cube, if I drag and drop this cube or another cube, I want to have access to all children. So I will need to know how deep I will go with the children. So for example, maybe for the first children, so it will be 1, and after 2, and after 3, and after 4, and after 5. So maybe for this one I will go on 5, but maybe in other children I can go more deep than the other one. So for example, maybe this one I can go very deep. So as you can see, I can go very, very deep. So 1, 2, 1. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So maybe I will go up to 8. So I will need to know what is the max depth of all the children, and where should I go if I want maybe to tag maybe the three first children, the fourth children. So I will need to do a function about that. So let's code this one. So for this case, I will need to create a private GameObject, and let's name this target GameObject. So target GameObject. So basically, this will be the target I want to use for making the tools. Also, I will also need a private string selected tag. So selected tag. Okay. So it will just use the tag we want to use. Also, I want to use a private int. So private int. If we want to apply or not to nested children. So it will be not int but bool. So apply to nested children. So by default will be equal to true. What I want to do, I want also to create a private private int, so depth level, so where I want to go. So by default, so like this, by default it will be equal to -1, and -1 will be apply to all children, like this. So apply with 2p. Okay, and also I will need to create private int, max depth. So basically, as told you, where far I want to go. So max, and by default it will be equal to 1. Okay, and I just need another one. So let's create a private bool. Apply to self, so apply to parent. Apply to parent will be equal to true by default. So basically, when I will apply the tag children, do we need to use it for the parent too? So by default it will be equal to true, but maybe sometime I don't want to use for the parent. Okay, so now we can save this, and let's create a function. So let's name this private int calculate max depth of the game object, max depth level. Okay, and it will take in parameter the game object. So a game object, the parent. We'll name this parent. Okay, and what we want to do, we want to create a int depth will be equal to 0, and we want to return the def. And what we want to use, so basically this function, why I return the int, it's because I want to use recursive way. So I will do a for each, so for each transform, so for each transform child in, so parent dot transform. What I want to do, I want basically to make def, so will be equal to matf, so matf dot max. So I will take the maximum of between the def, so def and basically 1 plus calculate max def level and child game object. So child dot game object, like this. Okay, so basically each time it will find basically a children, it will add one death more, and it will redo the calculation until the end, and it will return me the death of the children. Okay, so what we want to do also, we need to, after we calculate the death of the children nested, we need to make a function we are able to apply this to all the children or all the level we want. So to do that, what we want to do, so private void, because remember we can manage the level maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but maybe just imagine we got 9 level and we just apply to the 6 first level. So we need to make a function to be able to apply on only the first 6 children level. So let's make another function. So apply tag to children, and what we want to make in parameters. So we take a game object in parameters. So again, it will be a parent. We'll need a string. So the string will be represented by the tag. Also, we want a bool because we want to know if apply nested is true. Nested is true. Also, what we want to do, we want to create an int max depth. So like this. And also we want to have, so int current depth. And this last parameter will be equal to 0. Okay, so the first thing we need to check is if we reach the max depth. Again, we'll use recursive way to use this function. So if max depth, different than -1, so and current depth superior or equal to max depth, what we want to do, we just want to return. So return like this. So like this, we just break the function. We just get out of the function. If not, what we want to do, so we want to make a for each. So for each, and again, we'll do the same for the calcul max depth. So transform child in parent dot transform, and what we want to do here, it's the same. So we'll say child.gameObject. So child.gameObject.tag will be equal to tag, and we want to make it nested or not. So if nested, what we want to do, we just want to recall our function. So apply children via child game object, tag, apply nested, max depth, and also current depth +1, same as the calculate depth over there. So now we can save this. So maybe you would say, okay, we didn't do anything about the GUI or any stuff. This is normal because I really want to make this function first. So this is just a simple function with recursive way. So this will be useful to apply the tool to our game object. So if I head back to Inchi, as you can see, we only have the tag tool and we don't have anything yet to show. This is normal because we didn't use the onGUI function. So let me head back to Visual Studio Code. So now we just create our functionality to apply all the tag inside this function, this tool, and now we need to create the UI, the GUI. I don't know how you say that in English, but a lot of people say on GUI, so I will say on GUI. So let's create a private void on GUI, and in this function, this is where we want to create all the UI for our windows. So make sure to write it well, because this is like an update, awake, on enable, on disable. This is a function from Unity. So you will need to spell it well. And what we want to do, so let's create, so I will create GUI, so let me create GUI layout label, so layout dot label, and basically this will show some text. So let me create the first text on the editor window, and the text I want is tag all descendant of a game object, and when I save this, as you can see, it got another parameter. So if I go there, we got a multiple parameter, but I just want a simple parameter, so editor bold label. So basically, it will make the text bold. So if I save this, and now I head back to Unity, you will see, like this, here, tag all descendant of game object. This is the first time we just see something on the windows, and we'll use some of this to be able to make our tools. So now let's head back to Visual Studio Code, and what we want to do, so we need to create a field to be able to basically, so let me head back to Unity. When I will drag and drop like this object into my tool like this, I want to be able to have a field over there. So let me just here, to be able to have a field over there, to be able to drag and drop our game object. So how can we do that? So very easy. What we want to do, we want to use our target game object, okay, and we want to say the target game object will be equal to the editor, so editor GUI layout, so editor GUI layout, and we want to use basically an object field, and in this object field it will ask me basically a name, and after the type, and if we want to have access to the hierarchy. So what I want to say so game object, so it will be a game object, so a string, so game object. After what is the game object? So for me it will be the target game object. The type of, so the type of will be type of game object, game object, like this. And if we want to access to basically the hierarchy, and I want to say true, so like this, I want to say true. Okay, and why it's not happy? Yeah, I need to cast this as a game object, because as you can see, target game object is a game object, so I will need to cast this like this. So game object like this. Okay, so now if we save this and we head back to Unity and we go on our tool, as you can see, we are able to create a field where we can drag and drop our game object. So if I select this, we can select game object from our hierarchy. Okay, that's nice. So now what we want to do, we want to create a drop-down menu to be like this one. So like this one, I want to create a drop-down menu with all the tags we want. So to do that, we need to create, again, I will use select tag, so this one, like this, and select tag will be equal, again, we'll use a editor GUI layout, dot, again, they already know, so dot tag field, and we want to name this, so I will say tag to apply, and in the second parameter, we want to use the selected tag, so selected tag, like this. We can close this, and let's save this, and let's head back to Unity to see the magic happen. And as you can see here, we got the tag to apply, and we can select basically the tag we want to apply to my game object. Same as here. This is very nice. So after that, we want to create a checkbox to say if we want to apply this to a parent or not, because remember, if I head back to Visual Studio Code, we create like a boolean to say, do you want to apply to this parent? So let's create this checkbox. So we want to say apply to parent will be equal so to editor GUI layout dot, this time will be a toggle, and again we want to say the text before, so apply to parent to parent, and the parameter, it will be the boolean, so apply to parent. So now again, let's save this and head back to Unity, and you will see a toggle will appear over there. So basically by default it will be equal to true, but we can, you know, just check and uncheck it if we need it. Okay, so now let's save this. Let's head back to Unity. Let's head back to Visual Studio. And after that, what we want to do, we want to be able to say if, same as here, we want to nest the children. So I will just copy paste this because it will be the same, and we don't want to use apply to parent, but apply to nested children. So like this, like that, copy paste, and apply to nested children. So nested children. So we can save this and head back to Unity to see this magic. So as you can see, we got the toggle over there, and we will need to say something. So basically here we got some slider to say if we apply to nested children, I want to choose what depth we want to do. But if we don't want to apply it, we don't need to show the next of the window. So to do that, what we want to do, we want to make an if statement. So if apply apply nested children, and so also if the target, so target GameObject different than null, so different than null, we want to show something. Look, so for example, I want to maybe show, let me just copy paste this like this, just to show you, and head back to Unity. So as you can see, nothing is showing because the GameObject is empty, but as soon as we take a GameObject, as you can see, something appearing. But if I don't check this, it disappears. And even if I, again, like this, put none, it will disappear. So that's very nice, and we want to do this with a slider and some title. So let's head back to Visual Studio Code. Let me erase this. And the first thing we need to do, so Cody already know because it's very nice and very powerful. So I will say max depth, so max depth level will be equal to calculate max depth level of my target GameObject. And this is why it's very important to have the target GameObject different than null, because we want to calculate the max depth of the GameObject. So also what we need to do, so let me introduce you the GUI layout, vertical scope, and horizontal scope. So basically, this will allow me to create like a vertical layout and horizontal layout inside my Windows editor menu. So here, what we want to say, I want to say, using, and we want to say new editor, new GUI layout, so GUI layout dot vertical scope, so vertical scope, and we can add a parameter. This is very nice to have it. We can say editor style, so editor dot hellbox. So this is very nice. Like this, we can copy paste some stuff to show you, like maybe this, like that. Let me quickly show you. And also, for sure, I didn't use cube. And as you can see, the little hell box is over there. It's like something from behind like this, and it will make things, for my part, more beautiful. So it's up to you. You don't need the hell box, but for me, it's very nice to have something like that. But it's basically up to you. Anyway, so after create the vertical scope, we need to create basically another scope. So I will use an horizontal layout. So I will say using new GUI layout horizontal scope. This time I won't use helpbox, and we want to say, okay, inside this I want to create a float label so float label rect fixed height, so fixed height will be equal to 30, and we want also another float label fixed height, so fixed width will be equal to 150, like this, so 158, and we want to basically create a rectangle. So let's create a rect, and inside this rect we want to name this so label rect, and we want to create to my GUI layout utility dot get rect, and in this rect we want to basically put the fixed height and the fixed height. So we want to say get rect, so get rect, so we want to use label fixed width and label fixed height, and again in the last parameter we want to say GUI layout, so GUI layout dot width, so dot width, and we'll put in parameters so label fixed width and GUI layout height, so label rect fixed height, like this. So now if I head back to Unity, as you can see nothing is showing, but we want to display what we want to have. So we want to say editor, so editor GUI, so editor GUI over there, dot label field, we'll take in parameter the label rect, and we want to display some messages. So let's say depth level, and we want to say -1 for all level. Okay, now we can save this, so level like this, we can save this, we can head back to Unity, and as you can see we got the depth level -1 all level. As you can see, something is basically trunks. We don't want to have this, so what we will need to have, so let me head back to Visual Studio Code, we want to add to this label field GUI style. So to do this we want to say so GUI style, so let me create this over there, so GUI style, so we want to say label style, we can name it as we want, so label style, and it will be equal to new GUI style, and we want to not say GUI skin label, but we want to say GUI style will be equal so editor style dot label. And what we can do over there, we can add some parameter. So what we can do, so we can say word wrap will be equal to true. So if I save this, as you can see, now I head back to Unity, this will not be trunks, and of course I will need to apply it. So let me just copy paste the label style in this label field like this. Now we can save this, and as you can see everything is wrapped and we just not go over some size. Okay, so you can add a lot more, so maybe alignment, text anchor, middle center. You got the font size, you can add bold like this. So now if I save this and I head back to my tools, as you can see everything in center, etc. I got everything bold, but I don't want to have this, so it's up to you. There's so many things you can do with this label style and the alignment, but we don't want to have all of this. So we can save this. And what we need to do, so we want to basically start to making the slider. So to do that, I want the slider to be at the center of my text. Let me explain. So I want to have the slider over there. I don't want it over there. I want to have the slider over there. So to do that, we need to create so another float. So let's create a float space wanted to reach middle, and this will be equal to so the label rect fixed height, so label rect fixed height divide by 4.0f. We need to create the slider. We'll say using a new GUI layout. So GUI layout, this time we want to use vertical scope, so GUI layout dot vertical scope. And we want to add the space, so GUI layout, so GUI layout dot space, and the space we want to use is basically the space wanted to reach the middle. And right now we want to use the slider, and we want to use the depth level. So depth level will be equal to editor GUI layout. So editor GUI layout dot int slider. So we want a slider with int, and it will take in parameter so the depth level. The left value will be -1. After we want to use the max depth level, so the max we want to reach, so max depth level, and also we want basically a width for the slider. So basically the width we can say so GUI layout, so GUI layout dot width, and we can put maybe, for example, 200. Now we can save this and head back to Unity, and as you can see here, we can basically reach the level we want. As you can see, it's 9. So maybe if I change the cube, maybe for 4, as you can see, 9 is 0 right now. So maybe I can use this cube. So if I use this cube, as you can see, the maximum is 3. If I use this cube, the maximum maybe it will be 7 or 3 also. If I use this one, maybe it will change. It will be 8. If I use this one, it will also change. It will be 5. So as you can see, the calculation is good. My calculation is good. So now we need a button to apply basically the tag to our children. So this will be very, very easy. So because we already make the function over there, we want to create the button. So to make the button, we say if, so GUI layout, so again a GUI layout dot button, and we want to name this button apply tag, something very nice. And if we click on this button, so basically if this is true, we want to basically execute some function. So if we also want to check, so if target GameObject, so target GameObject different than null, also string is null or empty of selecting tag. So we need to select tag before applying anything. We want to check after if we want to apply to parent, so apply to parent. If we want to apply to parent, we want to say target GameObject.tag will be equal to selected tag, and if not apply to parent, we just want to continue. So we just want to say apply tag to children, and we will take in parameters so the target, so target GameObject, the selected tag, so selected tag, also apply nested children, and we want to have the basically depth level like that. Okay, and if the target is null or anything else is null, we just want to say else. Debug log warning, so debug.log warning, so log warning. We just want to say please select a game object and a tag. Something very simple. Now we can save this. We can head back to Unity. And as you can see, we got here the apply tag. So if I click on it, as you can see, tag apply is null, and it will say, please select game object and a tag. So I can still click on it, anything happen. So we can clear the console. And let's say I want to none, and maybe I use a tag, test tag cube. As you can see, again, please, it will ask me to select a game object. So now let me use this game object like this, and I say I want maybe the three first game object, the three first nested child, and I want also to apply to parent. If I apply to parent, as you can see here, we got untag, 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 untag. Okay, and if I click on apply tag, as you can see, if I head back, test tag, test tag, test tag, and as you can see, it starts at 3, because if I remember well, it will be 1, 2, 3. So 3 nested children, so 1, 2, 3. And again, for this one, 1, so this one will be 1, 2, and I guess this one will not be tagged. So there it is, guys. So it's a simple tool. So it will be a little bit introduction with tool editor windows with tool in Unity. So I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you like this content. If you like, do not hesitate to subscribe or buy me coffee. If you got some question about tool in Unity, do not hesitate to ask me, because it's I don't see a lot of tutorial in YouTube on this. Definitely, if you're interested in tool in Unity, check the Freya Holmer course. She make like 4 live. It's like 4 hours and so much information. If you didn't subscribe to her channel, definitely subscribe to her channel. It's very nice and she make very good content. So I learned most of this thing by watching her video. So anyway, so I hope you enjoy this little introduction to the tool. I hope you can use this tag tool for your project. And I guess I catch you guys next time. Bye bye.